All right, well, my first thing is I talked about it a little bit in my life updates in the last episode, but now we're going to give it a full on review, and that is the Nintendo Switch game Super Mario Party Jamboree. Um,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So it's the latest entry in the Mario Party series, and this one has probably the largest cast of characters I've seen so far in the series. It has a whole, uh, I want to say 22 characters total, and for you to play as, it has a roster equivalent to Mario Kart at this point.
Nice.
Um, And here's the crazy part too. So yeah, and we've always had like Wario and a few other additions here and there, like Boo
Hmm.
sometimes as playable characters in Mario Party. There is like literally the whole bottom row of characters to choose from is
Jeez.
just a bunch of villains in this one. You've got like in this one, you can literally play as Bowser Jr., Bowser himself, Boo, a Koopa Troopa, Monty Mole, Birdo, one of the little well, there's two unlockable characters in this game, and they're very easy to unlock. I wondered for a minute there how you got them. There is in your main plaza in this game, there's a hot air balloon that you get on in order to go play like
Yeah.
the games, like like the traditional Mario Party or whatever. When you're on the hot air balloon looking around at the different and when you're on the hot air balloon looking around at the different game islands, you'll occasionally come across some sparkles in the distance, and if you zoom in on them with the binoculars, you'll notice that it's a character you can unlock, and there's two of them. For anyone listening, that's how you unlock these characters. You're on the hot air balloon, you just find them on the map, zoom in on them, and you unlock them. And the two unlockable characters are Pauline, who is not only the woman that Mario rescues from Donkey Kong in the original Donkey Kong arcade game, but is also the mayor of New Donk City in Super Mario Odyssey and sings the song from that game that got really popular during the retro Mario part. Um, so she's playable in this, and then the other unlockable character on the villain side is a Ninja, which is from real throwback. It's from Super
Oh,
Mario Brothers 2, the one where you could play as Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Toad, and that's the one where you would like pick up plants out of the ground and throw them at enemies and shit. Um, the little ninjas, these like just like little white creatures in these like black ninja suits with red buttons, and they would sometimes come at you. They're from that game, and that's one of the unlockable characters in this too. So yeah, you can be a boo, you can be a Goomba, which looks really weird, really weird with some mini games because Goombas don't have hands, so how they're doing shit is fucking funny. Like when the Goomba is trying to play the drums, he's literally just banging his head on the drums. um, but yeah, then it's got all your traditional characters too: Mario, Luigi, Yoshi, Peach, Daisy, Wario, Waluigi, Donkey Kong.
okay.
Rosalina is playable in this one too from Super Mario Galaxy. Um, so yeah, quite a few options. Toad and Toadette are both playable here. So you might be wondering, well, if Toad is playable and Bowser's playable and Bowser Jr. is playable, it seems like a lot of the spots normally, give roles that they take in Mario Party are who's taking those roles, because Bowser,
Hmm.
the Bowser spaces, if Bowser's a playable character, who runs those, that kind of thing. Well, this time the game is being hosted by Kamek, the guy in the
Interesting.
blue wizard suit that flies on the broom and he's got the magic.
Huh.
This time the game's being hosted by Kamek, and he created a giant imposter Bowser to take Bowser's place for the Bowser spaces. Um, he also comes into play as a boss battle in the game later. So they mix some stuff. They mix some stuff up here. So this game has two. Well, this game has a lot of shit going on. Actually, there's a plaza, your home plaza, that you can decorate and customize once you unlock stuff to decorate it with. Um, Then you get on the hot air balloon, and there's the regular Mario Party island where you play traditional Mario Party, and the boards in this one are great because the gimmicks are really cool this time around. There's an island board where every couple of turns the tide changes, so water will rise and it'll cut off certain paths so that you can end up getting stuck on an island running in circles for a couple turns. Because the water cut you off unless you have the right item to move somewhere else.
Nice.
There is a forest level where the giant caterpillar wiggler can move around at the ring of a bell and create shortcuts for you to get places easier. There is my personal favorite. There's a board in this one based on Mario Kart. There's a Mario Kart board in here. And it's a racetrack where you are legit driving cars around the racetrack with the dice rolls, and the star is always in one of the same two locations. There's a spot at the top where the path splits. On the top, there's a top route and a bottom route, and once someone gets the star on one route, it moves to the next one. Moves to so if it's on the top one, someone gets it, it moves to the bottom, and vice versa. Um, you know and each of these tracks have their own unique gimmicks, and they all have unique items too. Like each level has a unique item specific to that board that can be used to change things. Like there's a shell for the island one that can affect the tide. There's a
Interesting.
there for the racetrack one, there's turbo dice that gives you 4 dice you can roll to move further and faster.
Yep.
But the caveat is that you only stop for crossroads. So if you roll that dice higher than what you need to get to a star or something, you won't stop at it. You'll just go right past it. So there's there's a bit of strategy in this one.
Nice.
Yeah, there's also, the typical Bowser level that has to be unlocked.
Okay.
And then there's also, there is a shopping mall level in this one where you can take escalators and an elevator between 3 different floors, and every couple of turns there'll be a flash sale where a star is half off. And so are item shops are half off.
Nice.
So yeah. And then there's 2 unlockable boards in this one. Well, 3. One of them being the Bowser board, Bowser's Keep. But the other 2 are throwback boards. Mario's Rainbow Castle from Mario Party 1 and Western Land from Mario Party 2, which also saw a return in the last Mario Party game they put out. Yeah, which I think was Mario Party Superstars. Yeah. So, here's where the Jamboree comes in. This game has what's called Jamboree Buddies, and what will happen is when you're playing any round, there's a chance for one of, I want to say, 6 different characters who are not currently on the board, playing, to show up every couple of turns, and the player who reaches them first will initiate a mini game where everyone has to fight for this character to become their partner in a mini game, and the player who reached them first gets a advantage in the mini game. So there's a couple of, for example, if Donkey Kong shows up on the board and someone reaches him and initiates the mini game, you'll go into a mini game, like a rhythm game where everyone has to follow Donkey Kong's lead on hitting the drums. You just have to hit the buttons to the rhythm, and the player who initiated the mini game gets a bigger rhythm ring so that they can hit the rhythm easier, or in Wario's game or Bowser Jr.'s game, the player who reached them starts off with more points from the get-go to give them a head start. Stuff like that. And each character has a different thing. If Yoshi has a racing minigame where you ride a Yoshi up a hill and try to beat the others to the top. Wario has WarioWare trivia minigames. Mario has classic Mario Party minigames that you play 3 of them back to back. Peach has this thing where she puts you through a bunch of trials. Daisy makes you go through a fucking not obstacle course. It's a field day course, I guess you could call it. Each character has Luigi gets trapped in a haunted mansion and you have to save him by doing puzzles. It's literally each one is unique to that character, and if you succeed, if you win the mini game, that character joins you on the board and follows you for 3 turns as your companion. And what happens when you have a Jamboree buddy is each Jamboree character has
Mhm.
their own unique gimmick. So at the beginning of your turn, for example, at the beginning of every turn, Wario will give you a random number of coins. Luigi will help you get a higher dice roll. Donkey Kong will give you the option to shoot you to a random space on the board with his barrel. Everyone's got something different. Daisy makes items at the stores half price. Shit like that. So when you have a Jamboree buddy with you, everything comes in doubles. So when you land on a space, blue or red, you normally gain 3 coins or lose them. If you are with a Jamboree buddy, it happens twice. You land on a blue space, you gain 3 coins, and then you gain 3 more for
Hmm.
your buddy. Same for losing him though. If you land on a lucky space, you get to roll twice for
Huh.
for a lucky item. But on that same reverse note, if you land on say a Bowser space and you have a Jamboree buddy with you, you have to deal with Bowser twice in a row. You
Jesus.
know,
Okay.
so it's a double-edged sword kind of. Also, if another player passes you while you have a Jamboree buddy, they can steal your buddy from you. So you have to pass them back up to take them back. But if you pass a star with a Jamboree buddy, if you manage to pass a star with a Jamboree buddy, you can buy 2 stars. And what's great about this is that if you get Peach as a Jamboree buddy, she cuts the price of stars in half. So if you get Peach as a Jamboree buddy on the shopping mall level when there's a flash sale going on, you can get like 2 stars for 10 coins.
Jesus.
It's
Okay.
Yeah, so there's some strategy going on here. I will say though, what I don't like is that the game's randomization seems to be broken because I keep getting the same fucking Jamboree buddies over and over again, and if I have to see Donkey Kong show up as a Jamboree buddy one more goddamn time, I'm gonna gonna lose my shit. Like, please give me someone else for a fucking change. Seriously. He shows up way more than anyone else, and he's the most useless Jamboree buddy out of all of them, unless you're on the island level. That's the only time he's good. You know, uh,
I believe it.
yeah, each of them have their strengths and weaknesses, but it's still. I will say the amount of bumfuckery that goes on in this too is also like absolutely insane. I remember I went to a boo and paid 50 coins to steal a star, only to immediately land on I think it was a Bowser space and have him take that star from me. It was like
Nice.
they kind of it feels in this one. This is probably the hardest Mario Party game I've ever played because it
Okay.
really feels like they've doubled down on the bumfuckery that it screws you over in this one in a lot of ways. Um, but also, yeah, this game has an in-game battle pass that you unlock stuff by earning in-game achievements, and that's
Mhm.
how you get the unlockable levels. You have to reach a certain rank. The highest rank is 50, and there's way more than 50 achievements, so it's not too hard. It's not too hard to reach it, you know. But you only have to reach rank 40 in order to get all of the boards unlocked. So, um, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's not too hard at all. Ranks 10, 20, and 30 basically give you the boards, if I remember correctly. And oh no, rank 10 unlocks pro mode. That's the other thing too. This game has a version called Pro mode, which is like a competitive mode. It's exclusively 12 turns. Normal Mario Party you can choose anywhere between 10 and 20
Okay.
turns. 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. But no, Pro mode is 12 turns and the bonus stars are exclusively who has the most coins and who moved the most spaces, I think. And and it
Mm.
removes all of the randomization stuff so that it's entirely skill based. So no luck based mini games, no boo spaces, no chance times, no lucky spaces, none of that, no Bowser spaces, none of that
Oh,
shit. Just a straightforward skill based competition, and that's pro mode that you can play once you unlock it if you choose to. Um, that they added in. There's other stuff too because this game has motion controls. There's a Koopa Troopa paragliding thing that you can do where you're just like kind of flying around and collecting stuff. It's like a fun mini game. There's a rhythm. There's a rhythm kitchen section where you're basically doing a bunch of rhythm mini games back to back to try and get a high score against the computers. And
okay.
there's a Koopa a Koopa triathlon thing where you're racing around a board, but you're trying to collect coins to get further on the board. So it's got like your icon on the board and it's trying to get around, and you're doing these three mini games back to back where you're trying to get a bunch of coins to get further on the board and complete 3 laps to win. And then there's also a 8-player mode called I forget what it's called, but basically you and 7 other players go up against Imposter Bowser in like a special type of Mario Party game. So those are all different things you can do. And then, last but not least, this game actually has a story mode, a campaign mode, a single player mode.
What?
Believe it or not, yeah, it's called Party Trek. In your plaza, you go over to the right, and Kamek's like, hey, we need your help setting up the boards. Do you want to help us? So you join him, and one board at a time, it takes you to all 5 of the new boards, not the two from the old games that you can unlock, only the new ones. But you go to each one in turn, and you walk around the board doing different quests for characters on the board and helping them set it up for the party. So you're like setting up the board to be played, and it helps you. I actually recommend doing this first before even going into Mario Party, because it actually helps you learn about the boards and stuff. And
That's awesome.
And you doing the story mode will have you run into each Jamboree character. Like, there are 3 of them on each board, and you will meet all of them through story mode and play each of their mini games so that you can see what they are. And when you meet the Jamboree character on the board and you play their mini game and you win it, they will be put in reserves for something later. Because your goal on each of these boards is to get 30 mini stars, and you may remember mini stars from Mario Party 10, the one where you drive around in the car.
Yes,
so
I believe so.
So yeah, so they brought mini stars back from that for the single player mode, and you're just trying to get 30 of them. And when you get 30, a villain from the Mario series shows up and steals the mini stars, and then you and all the Jamboree characters you've recruited on that board go into a boss battle against them. And you don't have to have the highest score in the boss battle. It's completely cooperative. You and the NPCs work together to beat the boss. So, but it does unlock, there's a mini game island in the game you can go to, and after you've beaten all the bosses in story mode, you unlock a boss rush mode on mini game island that is competitive. If you want to do it. So, yeah, there's actually a lot to do in this game. I just wish, like, I'm getting so tired of seeing the same Jamboree characters in the same minigames over and over again. I wish the randomizer was better, because there's a lot of minigames I haven't unlocked yet, because I've never even played them, because the game keeps fucking landing on the same fucking ones over and over again, And, here's the other thing, too. This game has motion control minigames, and minigames that are not motion controlled. And you have, when you're doing regular Mario Party, when you do the party settings, you can actually set it to turn off the motion controlled minigames, so you can use a normal controller if you want.
Yeah.
However, if you want to play the motion control minigames, then you have to play this game with a single Joy-Con held horizontally.
Oof.
Because you need the motion controls for that joy, and you for Mario Party that's fine, because you're just rolling dice, moving around the board, and the mini games are so basic that you really don't need much control for them anyways. You just got to be able to move and jump for most of them, So that's fine, unless your Joy-Con has mad drift, it won't be a problem. You know what I mean? Like
that Joy-Con.
Yes, exactly. Which one of mine does, so it's become a problem, because those stupid fucking emotes that they added in the last one. You can now, like, that screen of emotes keeps popping up for me because the joystick keeps moving itself, and it's irritating. But I will say this: for story mode, you do have to use motion controls to do everything. That is, if you're trying to 100% it. All the story mode boards, you get 30 stars and you can move forward to the next one. You don't have to complete them. However, the most you can get on each board is 60 stars if you do all the quests. So you get 30 stars, you fight the boss, and then if you want, you can stay there and finish the remaining quests, or you can move on to the next board. But you will need motion controls for some of the mini games you have to play for the stars in story mode. So that just keep that in mind. Story mode is a great way to learn about all the different mini games, what the boards are like, who the Jamboree buddies are, and what their games are like. I will say this though. The one thing they did in story mode that really pisses me off is that some of the mini games that you have to play for mini stars in order to get 100% are the ones that are entirely luck based, and that is fucking stupid. Don't put luck-based mini games in the
Yeah.
story mode. That's stupid. Those should all be skill-based. And the two examples I will give you, the dumb like one of them is this one where there's 5 keys and 3 doors, and everybody has to choose a key and grab it and see if it works on that door. And if it doesn't, they go to the back of the line, and it's the next person's turn. And after everyone has found a key that works on the 3 doors, the last player left behind is just SOL. But the first person to find a working key is the winner. So, and you have no idea until you've seen someone use them and fail which ones do and don't work. It's like an upgraded version of that stupid exploding Bowser head one, you know.
Yep.
And the other luck-based minigame, there's a 1v3 minigame, and this one is the bane of my existence. I fucking hate this one so much. It's a 1v3 minigame where the player by themselves, and in story mode, by the way, in 1v3 minigames in story mode, you are always by yourself. So, in this one, it's this thing where there's 4 circles, and you have to choose which one you're going to hide in, and then the other 3 players have to guess which circle you hid in, and then when you pop back out, this hammer will go around, and all the spots that they chose, the hammer will come down on it, and all you can do is just fucking pray that they didn't pick your spot.
Yeah.
Because if you
okay.
get hit by the hammer 3 times, then they win. So, and I've had it where I shit you not, I've had it where I get through the first, because it's 3 rounds. I get through the first 2 rounds, the hammer never touches me. I go completely unscathed. Then I get to the 3rd round, and all 3 of the motherfuckers on the other team all pick the exact same spot, and I get hit 3 times in a row and lose on the final round. It's some horse shit. Like, there's no fucking way they all pick the same thing. The game is cheating. There's shit. So there are a couple of quests in story mode that started to really irritate me. And then also one of the motion control ones, I will tell you this. There are 2 mini games that if you're holding the controller, if you're doing motion controls, there are 2 mini games that require a pedal motion. I'll be goddamned if I can fucking figure out what that pedal motion is, because I've tried every which way and it doesn't work. So I went online and looked up a video of how someone did it, and it's way easier if you just hold one side of the controller in one hand and rotate it with the palm of the other hand in fast circles. It's much easier that way. Everything else is fine. There are some mini games in this I really like. There's one mini game, it's a motion control one, but it's really fun. That's like a golf one. And basically there's a golf ball on this little course, and you hold the controller and you tilt it to roll the ball around the obstacles and try to get it in the hole before the other players do. That one I really like. There's a motion control one I like where you're hammering nails into a bench, and you have to like swing you have to hold the controller vertically and like swing it down like you're slamming a hammer in order to get it in there. And there's a couple. One of the classics, Platform Peril, makes a return in this. The one where you're like jumping across platforms up in the sky and trying to reach the end first.
Yeah.
But in this one, it's a coin-based mini game instead. So instead of trying to be the first to the end, you're just trying to collect coins before the other players do. And because no matter if you fall off, you're just out. You can't keep collecting coins, but no matter what, if you collected even 1 coin, the game considers you a winner in that game, Because you know how the coin mini games work. Anyone who got money comes out a winner in that one.
Yeah.
But when you're doing the single-player mode, when you're doing Party Trek, and you do those coin-based mini games, it does not consider you a winner unless you had the most coins. So keep that in mind.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes it'll give mini star. If you get like first place, it's 3 mini stars. Second place is 2. Third place is 1. And some of the mini games like 1v3 or 2v2, you just have to win. Period, and then you'll get like 2 mini stars out of it. stuff like that. Sometimes you get mini stars for doing quests. Like they'll be like, "Hey, I need this item. Go find it for me." And then you'll go find the item, pick it up, bring it to them, and they'll give you a mini star for it. Simple stuff like that. And every level has Lakitu, the guy on the cloud that picks you up when you fall off in Mario Kart. He
Yeah.
Every level has him, and he has a 10 round quiz about the board that you're on, and if you every question you answer correctly gets you a mini star. So uh
Nice.
so you get 10 mini stars out of him alone. So yeah. So yeah, overall, oh, and this game also has online multiplayer, and not just for the boards, but for a bunch of the different game modes too, like the Koopathon and the Imposter Bowser thing.
Oh, that's
Speaking
awesome.
of which, the final boss of story mode is Imposter Bowser, and then the credits roll as it considers you having beaten the game that way.
Okay.
So yeah, like this game actually has end credits because it has a story mode.
Nice.
So yeah, I highly recommend this one. There are some, like I said, some caveats. I do have some issues with some of the BS in this game, but overall, I'm really enjoying it. I would give it an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
It would be my score. You definitely got to get your hands on this one so we can play it together. The
Yes.
Mario Kart board is amazing.
That'll definitely be something I'm probably gonna end up doing a 2-for-1 deal on Christmas.
Yeah. So that
Yeah.
is oh yeah, I guess I should probably say Super Mario Party Jamboree Metacritic. That will give me what I'm looking for. This game currently on Metacritic has a an 82 on Metacritic, so that's about where I
Okay.
put it. 8 out of 10. Yep. And that's the critic reviews. The user score for it is a 9 out of 10 average rating.
Okay. That
So
makes sense.
so yep, it's the highest rated Mario Party ever so far.
Nice.
There are parts of me that does kind of like some of the previous game better, Mario Party Superstars, but I do like a lot of this one. There is some bullshit that irritates me, but that's pretty par for the course for Mario Party.
Yeah.
So yes, yeah. There was actually, I'm not gonna lie, there was one time where I actually quit a game and went back into it because it auto saves every round because I was doing so well and I was about to lose everything to a bad roll. And I was like, nope, we're not doing that. I went back in, I restarted that round, got the exact same fucking roll the second time.
Man.
So I was like, is the game on to me? Is this predetermined? I was like, no way. If this happens a third time, that means this shit's predetermined and not actually random. So I went in a third time, got a much better roll this time. So it is random. I just got very
Okay.
unlucky twice in a row. Um,
Right.
so yeah. But yeah, 8 out of 10. That's my score. All right. What's your second thing?